Hi everybody, in this video I'll talk about the things that I didn't like about the game Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Yeah, there are quite a few of them, let's say it like that. Now, I already finished the campaign. I spent around, I think, like 70 hours playing this game, so I played quite a lot. And already continue playing after that, some secret missions and other stuff. And I have to say, I really enjoy just roaming through the world. It's just so satisfying, so immersive. But that aside, let's talk about the negatives. What I perceive as negative, more or less, yeah. So first of all, the main character's personality. But then I mean, here, Sam and Fragile. To be honest with you, I mean, of course, it's acting in the game, but the personality as portrayed in the game is, for me, is very, I think, apathetic, kind of detached from emotions to quite a high degree. I mean, I know it's supposed to be enigmatic, but this actually created disconnection in many times between how the character portrayed their emotions in the game and how it should affect me as a player who's actually watching it. I still think you can portray somebody to be in sort of situation serious and complex, while still allowing more emotional complexity to shine through in a more natural way. It just doesn't look natural. I am seeing in real life, some people just want to act differently and bizarrely, just to be unique and stand out from the rest, but it does create a disconnection. The other thing is, I think it's kind of aliasing issue. I'm not sure. I mean, it seems like it. Where you kind of pan the camera from side to side, it leads to kind of a smearing. Sometimes it looks like chromatic aberration, with kind of purple, but I think it was designed to improve the aliasing for the game, while still maintaining good performance. Because on quality mode, it's there, but less prominent. But hopefully this is something that can be addressed, because it's very annoying. It happens a lot. You get used to it. So, I mean, it's very annoying, but you get used to it. But again, this is just annoying. And many times you won't actually make lots of very fast pan of the camera. But the thing is that even with the slightest one, it's still noticeable. So hopefully this can be solved. Another thing is that I think the game significantly lacks dynamic content in the game. I mean, it's kind of open world. You can go anywhere you like. But all you find is usually lost cargo. There isn't anything like something significant, secret, something dynamic that you need to be at the right place at the right time, maybe at night, to find something special. It's just not there. I think it's such a huge missed opportunity, because it's not about just getting to the place. I mean, it's not about the end goal. It's about the meaning to get to the end goal, to deliver. So it's basically enjoying the in-between, and I think that that in-between could have been much, much richer by providing more unique and dynamic content, something that, again, very lacking in this game in my opinion. Now, I played on normal difficulty, but I can tell you, combat is very trivial. When you're when you get to CBTs, you can easily skip them, by the way, in many cases. And when you fight against them and any other enemy in the game, not just BTs, it's super easy, even with the most basic weapons. So basically it provides, for me, like zero challenge whatsoever. And I know it's not the main thing of this game, but it takes, I mean, eventually when you get the option to be in combat, you want to have some meaning for actually getting and fighting item and unlocking new items, because otherwise it really doesn't matter. I didn't even care if I had level 1, level 2, I just grab whatever out there and just use it. Of course I use, for example, the stealth for sniper rifle if I want to do stealth. And when it comes to stealth, I actually like it better than actually just going straight on, just fighting head-to-head with enemies. But that's my preferred method. But nonetheless, I think that it's very lacking here in terms of combat because of the lack of challenge, and therefore making unlocking other items in many aspects of the game not that exciting. But I can tell you, I found this is not the main thing that made me enjoy the game that much. Of course, it's the survival, traversal, the cooperation with other players. This, of course, the main thing in the game. So I'm just saying. That also leads me to speak about the endless slow motion in this game. You can actually see it here, like all the time. Why? There's just ruin the continuum and fun of the shooting, just moving and move to the other enemy. But there might be an option to turn it off. I don't know, but it's just by default in the game. I mean, I understand they want to really the combat for players to feel kind of snappier and make chaining attack easier and kind of more satisfying at times and kind of punchier. That being said, again, it's annoying in general. Maybe at the beginning when you're just facing new enemies, fine, but you know, it just ruined the continuum of the combat for me. Now, another thing, again, it's not a big deal, but there are lots of explanation on many trivial things, especially by the way when you talk with your little buddy. The Dollman, I mean, it was fine. Sometimes he reveals nice things, but in general, the game really gives you lots of things that are kind of trivial, but keeps repeating them, even in dialogue as well. So it was a bit annoying, but yeah. Now, I really like the boss design, but their encounters, the entire boss fights, again, I didn't find even anything in one of them that I feel that it's, except the last one was kind of entertaining. Again, I would call it, of course, hard, but entertaining. They're very uninspiring, and it's very lacking. Once you get to a boss and you have something like that in the game, again, it's not the main thing here. I mean, it wasn't for me, and I think it's just for the developers, it just wasn't the main thing. It's just they don't want it to be kind of an obstacle for players. But in some way, it's ruining the chain of rewarding and achievement when you get items related to combat. Unless, of course, you want to increase the difficulty, this is something else, which I haven't done so yet as of now, but if you are searching for a challenge, you might do it, but I haven't tried it yet. Now, the one thing that it can be a problem, it took me some time to get into it, especially by the way when I started playing the first one, is that the game is, there's some pacing issues. It's a very slow burn, although you need to be in a certain state of mind and have enough free time to allow myself to actually consume such a game. And sometimes it feels like it's weird for weirdness sake. And this leads the story to be a bit convoluted. Now, I mentioned also, again, with the characters, that's supposed to be enigmatic, but again, everything that, for example, with the character is kind of a lack of real character emotion that impair the relatability. And same goes, by the way, with the story, because when you do something that is overly complex and abstract, or just weird for the sake of weirdness, it's making it hard to follow or connect with. And sometimes developer and those are responsible for, again, adding some creative and new ideas into games, sometimes it creates such a disconnection because they want to create something that is so, I don't know, bizarre, different, new, unique, that it just totally create a disconnection instead of basically achieving something. This is where you really want to find the right balance and the fine line between creating something that is kind of mysterious, unique, but also because, again, we are human beings. We have way we actually communicate and react to certain things because they are natural to us. And when you get totally out of that, you kind of look at something and you don't know what to feel. Should I get scared? Should I get worried? Or should I do what? What is that? Same goes, by the way, to fragile and same face expressions. What they actually feel, or why they're acting like that. And this is why I think many players will find it very hard to connect with the game, especially in the first few hours. So I gave it more time and it helped, but there are many situations where I just didn't connect with what's happening in the game. Now, I don't know if some people will see it as a maybe missed opportunity, but there's no indirect multiplayer. I mean, there is asynchronous multiplayer, which is, I'm really enjoying it, by the way, don't get me wrong. But how amazing it will be if you can, in this world, like create the bridges and roads and everything and work together with other players to infiltrate bases, how amazing it can be in kind of a sandbox environment, especially after you finish the game and unlock stuff. And maybe, you know, okay, that lets me to speak about another thing. But again, direct multiplayer, I think would be amazing as well. And yeah, what I want to say before, and I just kept it for here, is endgame. What are you supposed to do after you finish? I mean, post-game, there are some secret stuff, and of course you can work more in connecting things. But what is there for players to give them the extra that they've already done like a million times? Eventually you get bored because the game doesn't provide you with some structured in-game content for you to enjoy. Just go on, finish your missions, do and help others, but again, eventually it will sink in pretty fast. The other thing is repetitive mission structure. So the thing is that I did enjoy, of course, my time in doing everything, because I told you it's not really the end goal, just getting one thing to another place. It's the in-between that I enjoyed a lot. But it doesn't take from the fact that that's what it is. maybe there are many different ways to actually inject some kind of variety into the gameplay experience. The way I'm saying in between, but then I mean there are missions where you can just do stealth or you have to do stealth. Or not have to, but you get maybe extra points for it. Sometimes there's a time mission that you need to do it fast called express missions or express orders. Sometimes it's eliminating BTs or fighting a boss. Sometimes it's a combination of several of these things. But eventually the game doesn't give you that variety to an extent that it feels very much different or something completely different than the things you're already doing. So what I'm saying is that the gameplay loop is very much limited, mission-wise. I'm just gonna give it a short thing. Can't play music outside of chiral network. It was annoying. Sometimes just out of the chiral network I wanted to listen to my favorite track. I couldn't. Another thing, enemy variety, very much limited, right? You have the humans, the mechs, and the BTs. No surprises, not something different that you can, oh my god, what is that? No such thing in this game. So basically, there are things that I didn't like, as you can see, but there's no doubt you can see that Hideo Kojima really tried to bring lots of things from many favorite games, movies, moments, things he relates to. Again, just create his own kind of movie game, combining things he loves from the real world and the fantasy world and maybe some of his previous works. And well, hopefully players will relate to it. But for me, I definitely see there's a quite disconnection between elements that, based on lots of our experience playing games through history, that makes us enjoy playing games, and things that could have done here, especially with such a high budget game. I mean, Kojima Productions is known for high production values for sure. And to bring, of course, all this celebrity talent and creating such very high quality game, this is taxing. But then you ask yourself whether if this game wasn't made by Hideo Kojima, it was just that game, how many players would actually play such a game? Wouldn't it be more vocals to actually demand or maybe show their frustration at certain elements of the game, which are pretty clear, like night and day, that they are not there. Things that could have improved the game quite significantly. I just want to add that mentioning all of this, I enjoyed the game immensely. I just mentioned all the negatives, so it seems like the game is negative. Not at all. The game is absolutely, for me, an amazing game. I wouldn't categorize it as a masterpiece because there are quite a few elements that I think are missing here that are big miss. Some of them I mentioned here, of course, that could have made this game so much better if those were actually ticked, but they weren't. This is why when you ask me if this game, for example, deserved to be Game of the Year over, for example, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, I'm voting as of now for Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And again, the delta, the difference, again, when you see like a developer is making such high quality game, you just cannot applaud to them to their amazing work. And here I think the expectations were much higher for me. This is why I'm pointing out many of the things that actually made me kind of raise my eyebrows, like why you do something like that, why you didn't do more. You're just undermining your own game with some of the lack of features you're actually introducing, or with better to say the lack of. Again, still, this was an amazing emotional ride for me, for sure. And because I haven't played the first one, it really felt like a completely different experience. It allowed me, by the way, to focus on things that do matter, because sometimes, again, you have things, you want so many things, but eventually there is a disconnection because so many things get some great emphasis that the core actually of the game, what the developer wants you to experience, is kind of lost between all the other things that kind of elevate it. So imagine just a spectrum, for example, an equalizer, and just elevated everything. You don't get to, for example, clearly hear maybe the mids, maybe the highs, because nothing is actually elevated. So in that way, when you have many things that are not really highly elevated, it's kind of elevates what the developer wanted to achieve in this game. And that, of course, where the game actually invested a lot in, and that's the story, the cinematics, the cutscenes, the connection with the characters, adding new characters and lore to the game, to the world, emphasizing on the traversal, adding new tools and mechanics to the game, the amazing dynamic environment and how much fun is actually to just roam around the world. I mean, yeah, some people played games just for that, like Track Simulator, just roaming around the world. You wouldn't add anything else because you want this to be the main thing. Also player choice and their connection with other players in again, indirect co-op. So once you understand that this those things, among others, are the main goals in this game, I kind of understood why other things got less, let's say, attention from the developer, and why that part that I should have enjoyed in the game is actually designed very, very well, and what actually led it to be such a great experience. So I wanted to, again, after mentioning all the what I consider some negatives, why it actually led me to enjoy the game, and maybe this was a right decision. I wouldn't know otherwise. Of course, I need to just experience something else. But I still think there are certain points in the game that could have improved, some of them quite significantly, to make even the gameplay experience better. Thanks for watching. Your thoughts in the comment section.